to say welcome to you all for joining us here today. And based on what we've just heard, let me ask, how many of you do now feel your need to grow your own food? All right. And with that in mind, we're here to give you some practical steps on how you can grow your food where you are, no matter if you're in an apartment, if you have a large backyard. But before we go into that, how many of you already have a garden? Great. And how many of us have not yet been on our journey towards growing our own food? Okay. And so Jose and I, we're going to be here for the next 6 weeks or so. We're going to teach you hands-on, step-by-steps, how to get to the point where you can grow from having your seed to be able to harvest your own produce. Isn't that right, Jose?
That's right. We want to encourage everyone wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are in this journey to growing food. In these classes, we'll be showing you exactly what you need to know to be able to come from not knowing anything to being able to produce foods so that you can take care of yourself. Because in these last days, as we just seen, I mean, some startling facts that were just shared with you, I'm encouraged to grow more food even now.
That's right. And so for today, we're going to ask you a question. When you think of growing food, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What steps come to your mind when you think of growing food? Soil, containers, seeds, sunlight, land. Okay, well, for us, when we first started about growing food, we had to consider a budget, because buying things organically can be a little bit expensive. And so that was something that we considered. And as you mentioned, the first step is to get in your own seeds. Now, Jose, do we purchase any seeds?
No, we do not. We are very concerned what seed we get, because not everything is as healthy as advertised. So the type of seeds that we do get are heirloom organic seeds. And the reason why we choose, first of all, heirloom seeds is because the heirloom seeds come directly from the parent plant and then produce the same kind of vegetable or have you fruit.
Right.
And the reason why we choose now organic is because now these foods do not have pesticides, herbicides, and all the sides that we heard, as well as we're not grown with conventional fertilizers, which are also not as healthy. So what else do we use, Sharice?
Well, we're going to also show you that you're not limited to purchasing seeds to be able to grow your own food. There are other methods that you can use, but for today we're going to be looking at tomatoes. As was mentioned earlier, tomatoes is one seed, one fruit, or one plant that has been modified significantly. And we want to show you how to be able to get from your seeds to a plant that's almost, ready to harvest. And just to share with you the benefits of growing your own food, because it's nice for us. We have our backyard, we plant our own food. And it's just wonderful to be able to go in your backyard, harvest your herbs, even to send your children, which love gardening very much. We send our son Michael all the time to go get green onions or to get rosemary, which he finds pleasure in doing that. And it tastes much better getting food from your garden instead of getting food from the store. And so we're going to demonstrate to you how you can start your own food where you are at. And right now we're going to start in our kitchen. So you don't have to worry about, okay, I'm going to get dirt or I'm going to get containers. We're going to start in our kitchen. And so what do we have here today, Jose?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is we want to know where can we get seeds besides buying them or purchasing them. Because you can also, as you're buying organic foods and are accumulating these expensive receipts, you also want to make sure you use the most of what you have. So what we do also is we save our seeds.
That's right.
And so that's going to be our first demonstration here today. We have an organic pepper. And also what we're going to do is cut the pepper open. And there we see that we have our seeds. Thank God we have seeds in there.
Amen. And when you get what do you do with your pepper seeds? You throw it away. Have you ever considered that these same pepper seeds can give you peppers? Okay. And so what we do is there's many ways that you can save your seeds for pepper. I'm going to show you. You can just core your seeds. And what you can do is you'll just get a paper towel And if you put this on your counter on a paper towel, over time your seeds are going to dry out. With this way, it takes a little longer because, of course, you have a lot of moisture in the core and the seeds are still attached. So you can put this on your counter. Within a week or two, it's going to dry out. Also, Jose, another thing you can do is if you separate the seeds from the pepper, that will dry out. They will dry out much faster. So you'll just let them stay on your counter. Over time, they will, as I said, dry out. And you can plant these seeds within a week or two. And perhaps within 3 months, you'll start getting your own peppers. What else can we do with our pepper seeds?
Well, the pepper seeds, just on the peppers though, maybe a few other seeds, what you can do is to check to see if they will sprout or not. You can put them in water. Mm-hmm. And if these seeds will sink to the bottom, you know that you have a good seed to plant. And so that way you're not just saving any seed. You know that this seed is actually going to give you a pepper plant.
That's right. And not only with peppers, whatever produce you buy organically, if it has seeds, you can save those seeds, whether your cucumbers, your apples, you can plant many of your seeds that you already have produce in your own home. And the next step we're going to take you is from what are some of the conditions that are needed in order for us to get or produce?
There's going to be 3 conditions that you're going to want to meet in order for that seed to germinate. Number 1, you're going to want moisture. Number 2, you're going to want heat. And then number 3, air. So these 3 components are what is necessary for that seed to germinate. And as you see here, what we have in this bag, we actually have a zipper bag with a napkin inside of it, or a
paper towel.
A paper towel, thank you. And inside we have the seeds germinating. Let us show you that. Unfortunately, not everybody can see that, but for our viewers online, we have the seeds that have been germinating. Now, the way that we did this is, how did we get it to germinate?
Well, you have to consider when you purchase pepper seeds or tomato seeds or any seeds in packets, your seeds are going to be dry. Your seeds the process, they die. Seeds have to die, some seeds, that is, have to die in order for them to grow. And what can we take from this, Jose?
Well, there's an interesting object lesson with that, because just as the seed had to die by the process of dehydration and then had to again be hydrated with the water, it had to die in order to give life.
Right.
And Jesus had to die for us so that we can have life. That's an amazing object lesson. And you'll find many object lessons while you're doing your gardening. There's many spiritual applications there.
And so what we'll do is we're going to add our seeds to some water, and we're going to allow it to sit for about 20 minutes so that our seeds rehydrate. So we're going to just pour some water on our seeds. And this will cause our seeds to germinate much faster than just putting in the dirt. You don't have to worry about watering until you start seeing your sprouts. And then when you choose your plants, you choose the healthiest plants from those that are sprouted. So you don't have to worry about wasting dirt, wasting time and resources with this method. Here we have some seeds that have already been soaking for 20 minutes. And these are homestead pepper, heirloom homestead peppers.
Tomatoes.
I'm sorry, tomatoes, homestead heirloom tomatoes. Since these seeds are small, you're going to can you pour some water in here for me, please? Okay, thank you. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our seeds to our paper towel, which is going to be the medium that our seeds will be growing in for the next few days. Where's he?
So as the 3 conditions are being met, they are moisture, which is what we're doing now. We're making sure that we have proper amount of moisture in the peppers, or the tomato seeds, excuse us. We also want to meet another condition, and that is we want to make sure that we have, as you see here, Why is it that you are rinsing it out like that?
Well, if we leave too much water in our paper towel, our seeds are going to spoil, or seeds are going to get moldy. So you'll just add, and you don't want to make your paper towel too dry either, because then your seeds will not germinate. And what we're going to do is when we wet our paper towel, we're just going to fold our seeds in, and this will create the environment that our seeds will need to germinate. So we'll just fold our seeds in our paper towel, and then we're going to add them to our Ziploc bag.
And yes, if you could hold your questions to the end.
Yeah, well,
I love to garden, but I have the spinach. They call it spinach in my home. Here they call it halal. I have a lot, but as soon as and then the worms start eating it. What the best?
Yes, we will be addressing natural ways to control pests in our classes in the future. Thank you for that question. So what we want to do is we want to hold this Ziploc bag open like such, and make sure that you get as much air as you can in there. This meets the other condition that you want to meet for the seed to germinate. Do you remember what the conditions are? All right, moisture, heat, and air. So those are the conditions that we want to make sure that we have. So we have two of them right now. We have the air and we have the moisture. So we're missing number 3, right? So how would we get the heat?
two ways that we can get the heat for our tomatoes. The first way, which is easiest for us, is we put it on top of the refrigerator. Now, do we just put it anywhere on top of the refrigerator?
No, what you want to do is when you are reaching up on top of the refrigerator, you'll feel around and you'll see that there's actually a spot on the refrigerator where you get some heat from. Mm-hmm. And so you want to get that spot, and that's where you're going to place that bag, so you get the heat, the moisture, and the air.
That's right. And also you can put it on a window, by a window, but you have to just bear in mind that the sun is going to warm your paper towel, so it will dry out a lot faster than if you do put it on top of the refrigerator. Bear in mind, after a few days, you want to reopen your bag to allow oxygen to re-enter for the seed to germinate. And just to consider, if after a while you realize that your bag is drying out, you don't want to put your paper towel under a faucet, because then you're going to have to squeeze it. And in squeezing it, you may damage the seedlings that have germinated. So what you'll do is just you run the water in your sink, just gently get some water on your hand and pat your paper towel. And then you're just going to put that back in the bag and put it on top of the refrigerator. And when you get to within a few days, your seed will start sprouting. Peppers generally tend to take peppers take a longer time to germinate, because the seeds are the shell is harder. So, and larger seeds also generally take a longer time to germinate. When your seedlings are about a little over an inch and a half, you want to transplant those. And then we're going to teach you.
So are these ready to be transplanted now?
Within a few days, they can be transplanted. These are actually ready to be transplanted.
All right, and so here we see that this one has actually been recently transplanted to the ground, and you can see the process of the growth throughout the tomatoes. And then here at the bottom we have one that's been grown for about a month and a half, or a little over a month. So you can see the process of the growth, and we have that in front of you. Now everybody here will receive some tomato seeds, the very same seeds that we have here, heirloom organic seeds, so that we want you to do exactly what you have seen. We'll give you a handout with the instructions of what you have seen as well, so everything will be outlined for you. And as you came in, I hope that you filled out the cards and gave us your information so that we can contact you. And that way we can motivate you and continue to motivate you. Now we have one more demonstration we want to... Charisse, is seeds the only way to grow food?
No, actually, as we mentioned before, there are certain things that you'll have in your household. Like, for instance, does anybody know what this is? What is it? Green onions, scallions, or spring onions, as many people know it. We actually don't buy green onions because we have so many in our yard, but we've purchased green onions so that we can demonstrate to you how you can also regrow your onions. Now let me ask you, when you purchase your onions, you'll notice that the roots are still attached. When you cut your roots, what do you do with it? You throw it away. Wow. We used to do the same things until we learned that no, you don't throw away your green onions. That's throwing away food. We actually have a continuous supply of onions. I think
That's
it was
right.
about 3 or so years ago was when we purchased our last green onions. And what we do, Jose is going to demonstrate how to.
So what you want to do now at this time is measure from the root about 2 inches. So it's going to be right after that, the white spots to the green. And you're going to cut right there. So you have about this much, 2 inches of the green onion left and just the root of that. Now what you want to do is you want to place these inside of a smaller container like a cup or something like that, and make sure that you have them standing up just like this, if it cooperates. And so as we were mentioning, we have so many green onions right now because we continue to do this, and it saves us money. It saves us having to go to the grocery store. When we're out of green onions, we don't have to take the trip out there, so it saves us time. There's many benefits that you can continue to see as you continue to grow and to learn how to grow food. And that's what we want to help you with.
Right.
And so I hope you're motivated right now.
And then all you have to do is just add a little bit of water so that your root, I'm not sure if you can see it, but just so that your roots are barely covered.
Why is it that it's only a small amount of water?
Well, you have to, if the water touches your green onions, they will start to get a strong odor, and then your roots are going to go bad. Your roots are going to spoil. So you just need a little bit of water for your green onions to sit in. And then you'll notice within a few days that these were planted less than a week, and already our green onions, this is where we cut it. And you've seen how much our green onions have grown. When your roots are a little bit longer, when they're starting to entangle in your cup, that's when you want to transplant them. All you do is you use your finger and you stick a hole in the dirt and you twist it. And your roots are going to coil down in the dirt. And then you'll get green onions. It'll continue to grow. And the most beautiful thing about green onions is the more you cut it, is the more it will grow. So you'll never have to purchase green onions again. How long does it take for us to have all this green onions before it seeds?
This one here is approximately 2 years old. We've had this one growing in our garden. We actually put it in the pot for demonstration purposes. And right at this time, they'll begin to grow a bulb at the top. And that's actually the seed. And so you'll have the ability now to save the seeds, just like we showed you. Save those seeds, let them dry out, and then you can plant even more. So you'll have a continuous amount or supply of green onions, and you really never have to buy them ever again.
That's right. And within a week, you can start clipping your onions. And as I said, the more you clip it, the more it will grow. And that's not only green onions. If you continue to come, we're also going to show you other ways of planting. As we mentioned earlier, with the Ziploc bag method, there are some seeds such as radishes or carrots which don't do so well with being transplanted. So those you have to put directly in the dirt. And we're going to show you how to do that, as well as how to successfully transplant your seeds, because you have to bear in mind that when you do transplant, you have to be careful that all the root fiber stays in place so that you'll have a wonderful plant. Anything else we want to share with them for today?
Yes, I want to encourage you to come back. Next week, we're going to take the next step and actually transplant the seeds so that you can see how that is done. We're going to talk more about soil. We'll be providing you with soil and a pot so that you can actually do that yourself, transplant that. So what we're going to ask you to do is to take those seeds, go home, and begin your journey growing your own food.